Let's talk about staff buy-in through community agreements. Okay, so this video is for my professionals, anyone who is tasked with leading meetings for the purposes of efficiency and moving work along. You're going to want to watch this video. What's up, folks? My name is Denise Relf. I am the owner and principal consultant of Never Stop Growing Coaching and Consulting. It is a coaching-based practice that uses accountability strategies and realistic goal setting to help you rewrite the old habits and practices that kept you stuck and reimagine or re-envision what work can look like from a more productive standpoint using the resources that you already have. So, let's talk about community agreements. You may have heard of it and some may have not, and there's a host of different ways to do it. I'm going to share with you the style of community agreements that I've been using for about 8 years now. So I've worked in both the public and private sectors before going full-time in my entrepreneurial practice. And this approach has worked no matter the public or private stream, right? It is getting buy-in from the staff through the agreements. That is the core purpose of how I use the community agreements. I want you committed to this work. And I know that the purpose of us meeting is to get some work done, right? I don't know about you, but I'm not a fan of having a meeting for the meeting for the meeting and then 12 emails in between where we have about 30,000 people replying all. It drives me insane if you didn't hear it in my tone. But I know I'm not alone. And so whenever I set out to have a meeting with my team members, the purpose of this is to efficiently move through it. And I know that I can't efficiently move through anything unless we have a shared agreement. And sometimes community agreements need to be done every single meeting. And other times, if you're working with the same core group, it becomes repetitious. And then it's just like little reminders throughout. But let's talk about setting them up initially. When you're going into setting up the community agreements, it's important to remember that you're inviting everyone at the table to participate. And you are indicating that everyone there plays a vital role. So it would be helpful to outline that, right? Because sometimes you have those who are like the loudest voices in the room, and they'll be willing openly to contribute to the community agreements, while the more quieter ones may just sit back and nod and say, yeah, I agree. In this approach, the way that NSG does it is we want all the voices in. And so something that I'm typically known for doing is the more quieter voices in the room, I want to hear from first. So as the person conducting the meeting, I may set the tone and say, okay, we're about to set up our community agreements. I invite all of you guys to bring your voices and your thoughts and opinions into this space. We have X amount of things on the agenda to go through, and we want to make sure that we successfully get through them with solid plans in place. Okay, so with that said, what is it that you need in order to efficiently move through? And then I pause. If someone wants to start us off, then great. If they don't, then I'll say, for me, and this is my go-to, I need your full attention. I know that there's a lot of work happening outside this meeting. I know that you may have wanted to be someplace else or do something else, but I ask you that while you're here, bring your attention, clear your mind, and just be here so that way we can reduce the need for any additional meetings outside of this. This can be a one and done, and all of us walk away clearly knowing what our task moving forward will be. And then I pass the mic and I say, what else do we need? And it's always inclusive. We language, because this is a collective agreement. This is not just because I asked it, everyone has to do it, or because I need it, now I'm the only one that needs to. This is what we're all collectively saying we need. So we're supporting one another in this community space, which is what a meeting essentially is. It's a community space of thoughts and ideas to be birthed for productivity of work. You allow people to share. Some of the more common things that I'll see in community agreements are like, I need trust, I need openness, I need attention, I need to be able to get my thought out without being cut off. By the time we're done with the agreements, especially if this is your first time, it's important to take a little bit time out to do this. I look at the list and I say, okay, what we have here is not just what each of us need individually, but is also what all of us need to bring to the table. So if you need trust, then be willing to be vulnerable enough to share your true thoughts and opinions. And then all of us collectively will then work through it. And we'll trust that we will hold space for your thoughts and opinions. Trust that we will ask questions to understand better and move through. This goes a long way when you're doing restorative work. So one of the other things that then happens is certain points need to be clarified. People will say things and we're not quite sure what that means. So you ask people, looking at the list, what needs to be clarified? Sometimes I'll purposely pick out some common terms on purpose to make sure that we're on a same page, like trust or openness. What do we think this means? What does it look like to demonstrate openness? And I always say, what does it look like? Because it's in how we behaviorally demonstrate these qualities that people get to see it, right? We can have this concept in our head, but if we don't put what we have in our head to practice, it means nothing. So I like to clarify those points by asking questions. So that's pretty much it for the community agreements. I'm going to recap with you right now what we have. Community agreements are important because it brings everyone into the same space and agreement to work together for solutions forward. It also allows everyone at the table to have their voice heard and get their needs met. Often the community agreements are something that we also need to be. So it's not just that we need others to do it for us, we need to be it as well. And the last thing is, there are points where you want to clarify some just to make sure that we're all on the same page. Once you're done with the community agreements, then they serve as this guidepost as we're working through. So as you're moving through agenda items, or if you're doing any kind of restorative work, as you're moving through discussions, you can always refer back to the community agreements if things feel a little derailed or tensions start to raise. And it's like, well, hold on, let's look at the community agreements. What do we need to invoke in this moment in order to move us through? I hope this helped. In the meantime, let me tell you how to find me if you want to partner with me, because I have some availability, okay? I have workshops, I have one-to-one professional coaching, and I have specialized trainings that I can work through and create for you. All you have to do is use the link tree in the comment section or in the bio of wherever you're seeing this and book your discovery call so that I can learn more about what your desires and your needs are for your professional space and see how NSG can help. If you want to check out my website, you can go to thekeynsg.com to learn more, and also check us out on any one of our social media platforms. I am excited to leave you with this thought and hear more about how it goes for you. So please drop a comment below because I love reading them. It helps me know what works with you, and it also gives me insight of what more content I need to develop to help advance your own growth needs. So in the meantime, folks, never stop growing.